Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back. I had to actually re-record this again, because apparently my previous recording crashed. So this is the July 2nd Baro today, and this is our last one before the Sisters of Parvos mainline, so let's see what he has brought. Okay, so first, this is the Prisma Machete. This has been what we were waiting on for him to bring when it was first leaked in the Codex a couple of weeks ago. I would strongly recommend picking this one up because it seems like it's inherited the same critical chance and status as the Machete Wraith, which is what made it an extremely good weapon to start out with. It seems to have that same high slash bias. I think this is 70% or 60%, but it's still high enough that it's definitely worth using. I don't really know what the disposition is going to be. We'll have to see if it's 0.5 or not. If it's 0.5, then the Wraith is probably still much better than this with a Ribbon, but otherwise, this is a weapon definitely worth picking up. And, oh, our Opticor Vandal. Okay, so previously you could only get this from the Thermia Fracture event, so if you don't want to do that on Venus? I believe it's Venus. If you haven't done it and you don't want to go through that grind because it takes about 2 to 4 hours, you can pick it up from Baro this week. Now, it is weaker than the regular Opticor at just 400 on the charge and 200 on the quick shot compared to 1000. But what's different is it's actually status viable, so you can make this thing on a hybrid setup, which means it can still take decent effective use out of Hunter's munitions regardless. It does have slightly weaker crit chance, but much higher critical multiplier. And if you have a minus puncture ribbon, it will slash extremely well. For our primed mods this week, we got primed fast hands, which is a decent reload mod for your rifle. I'm not exactly sure if it's strong enough to make a difference, so this is up to you to decide, since pistols have an 88% reload buff, and shotguns just got prime tactical pump, which is 100%. So it's up to you to decide. Prime pack leader, I believe this is a new mod. The regular one only is a 30% lifesteal, I think, so definitely pick this one up. Outside of endurance runs, even on regular steel path, the 66% lifesteal length should be more than enough to keep all your companions alive, especially your sentinel. Then we got Prime T to charge. I would suggest grabbing this one since this is part of the duo to make gas on pistols. If you're on armless setups, gas is still definitely an option, not just electric. If you're going to use this for Eidolons as well, heat is the element to go since you already have Shock Trooper from Volt's abilities. So this would be what you're slotting on, and being able to use a primed elemental would be a huge boon there. Then we have primed heavy trauma. I don't think there's that many uses for this out of very specific pseudo-exalted builds or actual exalted weapons like Baruch due to lacking access to ribbons. So this is a bit more of a niche pick. If you want to grab it, feel free to do so. We got our, okay, Asra and Luxem ornaments, I believe. What, this is probably a spike standing on the ground. Oh, thank you, Tendu Soji, for the credit blessing. We got our Ki'Teer earpiece today, the Tribute Glyph, the Yamiko Sandana. Okay, so this came back, I think, last time was 3 vids ago, 6 weeks ago. I do think it's kind of nice. If you like it, feel free to pick it up. It does seem to mix well with some frames. It's a little bit harder to color, though, so feel free to fiddle around with that. But I did find it was worth picking up. You got your Ki'Teer Sentinel wings, and oh, Pedestal Umbra. So this came back instead of Pedestal Prime. So the counterpart to our original meme. It has a different base since it's the Umbra and it's black instead of white. We got our Prisma Veritux. This is the Prisma version of the default arch melee weapon. It does have viable stats on it, much higher critical chance and status compared to the original, and a massive slash bias. So it would be worth using, but who actually uses arch melee anyways? Moving on from that, we got our Eminence palette. This is the Baro exclusive. He brings this back every couple of weeks. Pick this up if you feel like it. It isn't too expensive, and if you want access to some nice purples, there are a couple decent ones on here. Then he brought the Edo set. Personally, I don't like any of this except the left and right shoulder plates. The knee plates kind of look like a joke, and the chest plate is a bit too small, so if you want to grab this, just pick up the shoulders. He's brought the Mantis Cydonia skin back too as well. Oh, and the Prisma Gorgon. So I believe he brought this back a couple of weeks ago too with the Mulciber chestplate. So 8 weeks ago. This is a decent hybrid weapon to use. As you can see, it has solid crit stats and some status here too. It is more crit focused than the Wraith variant, so this does hold up on Steel Path. You can build it fairly strongly that way, and say if you minus you have a minus impact ribbon, you can build it for slash again. Otherwise, still pick it up for MR if you haven't done it yet. We got our Corrupted Bombard Spectre blueprint. I'm not sure if this has come by before. I don't really find much of a use for this, since it's not like an Ancient Healer one where it can heal you and block status immunity, so I would probably skip on this. We got our Pyro Sugatra, which goes on your melee weapons, that hangs a bit like that. It's kind of nice. Got our Coxus Sugatra 2 as well. Is this new? I don't remember seeing this one before, but I was never really into Sugatra, so that's up for you to decide. And obviously the Sands of Inaros imprint, like always, that he brings every week for the Inaros questline. So that's it for what Baro is bringing this week for July 2nd, the last Baro before the Sisters of Parvos mainline on July 6th. I've chosen to include the console weekly Baro Ki'Teer drops this week in the description as well as the pinned comment. So if you want to see what's there and my comments, check it out below. That'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.